Let's talk about Planty products, accessories. I don't know what to call them. G'day my lovelies and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Kathy and this is where I talk about all my pet hobbies. Today I wanted to share with you my favorite Planty products or accessories, even though I am very bad at accessorizing. These are things that I use almost all the time to look after my plants, which I find invaluable. I don't think that I couldn't live without them, but they certainly make looking after my plants a lot easier. The very first item, which I wish I had known about when I first started looking after plants, and which I recommend that everyone who starts off on their plant journey get, is this: a moisture meter. Oh, I love this thing so much. It has made my life so much easier to look after my plants, to know when they require water and when they don't. Watering is in fact probably one of the most difficult things to learn in relation to our plants. Well, definitely for me anyway, because it's so easy to get it wrong, and sometimes it can be very difficult to know, does a plant need water, doesn't it? How often should I water? I know some people use their finger. They'll put it into the soil, and if it's dry, then they water. I find that that doesn't work for me. Sometimes I can't tell if it is wet or cold. Whereas this I use all the time on all my plants. Even those that I do know their watering schedule, I'll still use this to double check and make sure that that plant does need water. Honestly, I cannot recommend this enough, particularly if you do struggle with knowing when your plants need watering and when don't they. And they're not very expensive. I think I paid around $12 for this one. And you can buy them from places like nurseries, Bunnings, Amazon, just to name a few places. There are different ones. There are some that also include a pH reader and a light reader. I don't find them that useful. Really, all I want to know is, does my plant need watering or not? And that is what this does. Out of everything that I have bought to help me look after my plants, this is the most valuable and probably one of the cheapest things too. Highly recommend them if you haven't got one. Okay, number 2, and this is something I've only recently purchased, well, maybe 6 or so months ago, and that is this, a magnifying glass. It also has a light. I'm sure you can see that. It also has a even more intense magnifier there. This has been invaluable for me. I have extremely poor eyesight and I really struggle to see tiny little, say, specks, such as pests, such as spider mites. And I have got a very powerful flashlight that I use, but this is even better because it will give me a much better view of the actual plant, a close-up view of what is on, say, my leaves. I can't remember how much I paid for this, probably around $20 or so. I think I bought this from eBay. But honestly, for people like me who can't see very well, I needed something so that I could identify a pest if it is on my plant. And this was one of the few ways that I could do it. So this is a very important tool, one that I don't always like to take out because I know that I'll probably find a problem. A necessary tool rather than one that I really love. But highly recommend these, particularly if, like me, you do have trouble identifying very small objects on your plants or pests. Yeah, pests. Who likes pests, right? Okay, number 3 is this, trays. Pot trays, saucers, I don't care what you call them. There are different sizes you can buy. This is a larger one for larger pots. I use these all the time. I generally use plastic pots. Not always, but 99% of the time. And I like to have these to ensure that no moisture gets on my furniture or on my floors or anything like that. I like these better than some of the clear ones. The clear ones are much more expensive. I guess it depends on your aesthetic if you want something clear. I don't particularly like the look of them, as in I don't like to keep my plants on them around my house. I generally like to use cash pots like this, or a catch pot. Most of them don't have holes. This one actually does, but it also came with its own little saucer. But it's so shallow that it really wouldn't capture a lot of moisture if it leaked out of the plastic pot. If the cash pots actually do have holes in them, sometimes what I do is put a tray at the bottom. So at least it will protect my surfaces, my tables, benches, wherever I keep my plants. So they're very useful for a lot of reasons. Also, I occasionally use them when I get new plants and I haven't decided where I'm going to place them or in what pot I will place them in. At least this way I know I'm not going to dirty my surfaces with soil or moisture. And as I said, they come in a lot of different sizes. I don't think they're very expensive. I think these ones are around 59 cents by memory, I think. And obviously, the bigger they get, a little bit more expensive they are. But I think they're definitely worth it. I could not live without them. I have lots of them because I use them with pretty much all of my plants. Some people also use, say, plates, which is always a good idea. You can thrift some, say, from the salvos or anything like that. Or you may have mismatched plates that you'd like to use. But I just find these even better because they're very light. They're only plastic, but they're hard plastic, so they don't break very easily. Okay, number 4, which I cannot live without, I must admit, is Velcro. You cut it to the size you want, but what is wonderful about these is that they are reusable. You can cut them again, or if you take it off a plant, you can put it back, which is what I normally do, stick it back on the roll, and I can use it again. I can't recall how much these cost. If I can find the price, I will put it in my description box below. I remember my father used to use the old ties that had a bit of metal on them for, say, tying plants outdoors. And then my gardener suggested that I look for this, and I thought, what a great idea, because these are so much softer on the plants. It is just a bit of fabric and a bit of Velcro. And what I love about these is when I want my plants to grow upright, I can tie it, say, around a stake or a moss pole or a bamboo stake, and then I can slowly tighten it until it grows straight. Because that's the beauty with these. They're very easy to adjust. I do it all the time. So I highly recommend this Velcro, or plant Velcro. I don't even know what the right term for it is. If you want to help your plants, or you want to stake them or fix them to anything particular, like a trellis or something like that. Okay, number 5, which I swear by, is this, Seasol. Now, if you live in Australia, you would probably know about this product. Really? I think they should sponsor me. What do you think? Because I talk about it all the time. I had heard of it even before I started looking after plants, but I'd never really used it. My gardener, who is wonderful, big shout out to Grant, he recommended that I use it for my outdoor plants. And when I bought it, I saw that you could also use it for your indoor plants. And I have to say, I saw a huge improvement in my plants after I started using this. Actually, I should tell you what it is. It is a seaweed extract. It is an Australian product. It is, I believe, all natural, and it has several different uses. A lot of people use it when they pot up a new plant, or say repot something, or if they're going to plant something in the garden, because it helps plants establish very strong roots. It can apparently also stimulate flowering and fruiting, and it can help a plant combat pests. It won't stop pests, but it does strengthen them or help them in how they deal with pests. I use a spray bottle and I spray all the foliage as well as the soil, and my plants look like they're, I don't know, having a party. Honestly, it's like they perk up and they just look so happy and healthy. I have never seen plants react so strongly as they do to this. I have used organic fertilizers, very good ones. And yes, my plants love it, but they love this even more. They really do. I think you could call it something like a vitamin or a pick-me-up. I really don't know. All I do know is that my plants do very well because of this. And I try to use it every 2 to 4 weeks. At the moment, I'm using it probably every month because I'm also giving my plants a liquid fertilizer. But definitely recommend Seasol if you can get your hands on it. Unfortunately, I don't think it is sold overseas, which is a real shame because my plants thank me for it every time I spray them with this. I have a couple honorable mentions, a couple of other things that I really love. The first is this, a squeeze water bottle. I had so much trouble finding this online because I didn't know what the hell it was called. I think eventually I bought it on eBay. These are fabulous because they only direct a little bit of water where you want it. So for my Peperomia caparatas, which I keep killing, I decided that I'm not going to drench them like I do most of my plants. I'll only give them a little bit of water from this every now and again when they're a bit dry. So I do love these because you can direct exactly where you want the water to go in a pot. I also use it for my terrarium, my very, very sad terrarium, but I do use it for that, as well as my Haworthia, because I've killed so many. I've been trying to water with this instead. And these would also be very good, say, if you have a plant that doesn't like to get its leaves wet. I have also a smaller bottle, but I found that this size is even better. And the last planty thing I wanted to mention is this. This is a Nylex manual sprayer. I absolutely love this thing. It holds a litre. They do come in different sizes, but this is the maximum I like to carry. Comfortably, that is. I use it to spray my plants with Seasol, actually. You can use it for anything. You can use it for liquid fertilizer. You can use it for, say, pest controls or anything like that. What I do is I fill it up with water, put enough Seasol in here, and then you pump it, right? Which even I can do. And then you can spray it by pressing down on this. But if you want it to be a continuous spray, you push this little blue button in and you don't have to hold it as you're spraying, say, your plants. And I use this to spray all the foliage as well as the soil of my plants. And I love it. The only thing I hate about it is the bottom. It is very easy to knock over. I have actually knocked this over and broken it. So just be aware of that. But otherwise, it is very, very good if you want to spray your plants with anything, whatever it is, whether it's a preventative treatment or Seasol or fertilizer. All right, so that is some of my favorite Planty products. Let me know what yours are and what you use them for. You know I love to hear, and you can put them down in the comments or you can contact me on Instagram. As always, thank you guys so very much for hanging out with me. And if you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing to my channel. I hope you all have a beautiful day and a beautiful weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye. And one last thing, it is my wonderful, beautiful, sweet Remy's birthday today. She turned 11, and I'm going to insert a little bit of footage here of what she looks like because she actually got a bath today as well.